Proximity to the right humans is now the product. People don't really remember the zip line or the dinner or the cold plunge. They remember who they did it with. They remember the idea they got while they were doing it. They remember the breakthrough they had during it, that exchange. And the same will go for your business. They're not going to remember most of the information you taught them. They're not going to remember what you said in the webinar. They're going to remember how they felt when they felt connected and seen for the first time in ages. Build that into your business, and I swear to God, you will thrive.
Welcome, everybody, to the Chris Harder Show, where we are making you unapologetic about your pursuit of success, knowing that when good people like you make good money, they can then do great things. My name is Chris Harder, and several times per week, I will bring you epic guests, solo episodes, and every single tool, trick, and skill set you need to grow your business, grow your money mindset, and to grow your wealth to levels that you have never reached before. I've ended up in a unique place in life where I've got the experience, the connections, and all of the secrets that it takes to be successful. And I'm lifting the curtain to reveal it all to you in an effort to help put you in a position of abundance so great that you can then be as generous as possible. So let's lock arms and let's get started.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Chris Harder Show, where today I am grateful for my keen ability to see what's coming, to actually understand the economy, to understand trends, to always kind of have that insight. And I don't know if it's part intuition. I don't know if it's some weird skill set I've built over time, but I've just always kind of been able to see the forest through the trees and be like, oh, this is trending. Oh, this is what's coming, and be able to make a lot of those moves and pass a lot of those moves on to, you guys, the listeners and clients and all that stuff before they happen and before everybody else does. So that's my gratitude for the day. And it actually has a lot to do with the episode that I want to share with you today. I actually do want to do a little bit of a follow-up on a recent episode that you might have heard me do a few weeks ago, where I talked about pivots and pivots that you can make in your business in order to go where the rising tide is going. I listed 3 or 4 of them and how to make the adjustment. And in one of those tides in particular, one of those rising tides in particular, I said everybody is calling it the experience economy. And I think after I recorded that, the name misses the point. And that's what I want to talk about today. This is very important to your business, so definitely listen up. I think the name of the experience economy misses the point. I think that we all need to be taking a look at what I now call the human connection economy. And here's what I mean. Here's the difference. Hear me out. People aren't paying for the experiences, right? When they call it the experience economy, people aren't actually forking over their dollar for the experiences. That's not what sells them. Like the zip line or the dinner or the trip. Because honestly, they can get that anywhere. They can curate it themselves, or they can buy it at any number of places. The actual experiences are a commodity, right? So that's not what's actually making them hand their money over. And honestly, if they did those things on their own, they went ziplining by themselves, they had dinner by themselves, they went on a trip by themselves, there's value in it, but very little value compared to them doing it with people. And so instead, they're not paying for the experience, they're paying for who they get to become friends with along the way. They're paying for the conversations that just accidentally happen that they wouldn't have unless they were having one of these experiences with other people. See, it's not the experience, it's the outcome of the experience together. They're paying for the feeling they get when a like-minded person shares the experience with them. As a matter of fact, if you've listened to the show for a long time, you've heard me say nothing has any real value until shared, and that applies here too. Think about $1 has no value. It's just useless paper. Maybe it can help you build a little fire or something for a minute. But $1 has no real value until shared in exchange for something. And that's the same thing with these experiences. That's why I'm saying it's not the experience economy, guys. It is the human connection economy. The human connection economy. By the way, this is not my name for it. I saw it somewhere else and I realized, holy shit, this is really where the rising tide is going. The human connection economy. And if you're an entrepreneur and you're not paying attention to this shift, you're going to miss one of the biggest business opportunities of the past 20 to 30 years. You're going to miss one of the biggest rising tides ever that you could just stick your surfboard in and it's going to automatically make you a better surfer. It's like, really listen up. Think about it. We as a world have spent the last 20 to 25 years building digital connection. And I mean building it ad nauseum. Every dollar, every resource, everything went into building digital connection. And it's made us more connected in a way, but the outcome is that it's made us lonelier. The iPhone, the internet, social media, email, texting, and now AI. AI literally creating things that aren't real at the drop of a hat. And all of that is a good thing. It does good things for us, but also it's a bad thing. It's what I always call a double-edged sword. All of this digital connection has ironically made us feel less genuinely connected than ever and lonelier than ever. If you're an entrepreneur and you serve all your people online and not in person, you feel lonelier than ever. If you're just working out of your house and not outside of your house, you feel lonelier than ever. If you're a regular person and all your interactions are on social media, you feel lonelier than ever. So as a result, now the money is flowing in the other direction. And I mean in a big way. It's flowing into businesses that engineer real, in-person human connection and experiences. Not as a nice to have, but as a freaking must have. This is like the part where you say, okay, I'm listening. I realize that this shift is going to affect me and my product suite and the way I do business. And I've got proof, by the way. I got 3 different examples of proof that you're going to love. First one is this. Have you guys heard of the company called WeRoad? Well, I didn't hear about it until a couple weeks ago when I saw an article where they raised $58 million, and that fundraising was led by Airbnb being the biggest investor in WeRoad. What is WeRoad? It's group trips of 10 to 15 people for solo travelers who want to make new friends through travel. That's it. They're little like 5-6 day trips for solo travelers that want to make friends through travel. That's the only intention. That kind of goes back to, it's not the experience. People can travel anywhere, guys. They can travel, then go to Expedia, book their own travel. That's not the point. They want to make friends. And you hear this and think, oh, that's a cute little idea. But it's not cute at all. It's crushing it to the point. Like I said, they just raised $58 million in their last round, bringing them to over $100 million in capital raised so far. And last year, their revenue was $170 million in sales. In individuals going on these trips to find friends, $170 million in sales last year, which was up 30% over the prior year. So when I say this is a rising tide, this is a rising tide. They have had over 100,000 travelers on their trips, and the average traveler takes 2 trips with them a year. Guys, this is insane. Because think about it. For years, thanks to technology, trips have never been easier to book. But that's not what people are paying for. They're paying because they want to make new friends with people they haven't met before because they're lonely through travel. And for proof of what I'm saying, like that this isn't about the trip, WeRoad says their biggest concern that they get from people is never about the destination or the trip logistics. It's about whether they'll feel connected with the group or not. So they're literally going saying, hey man, this is only worth it to me if I feel connected with the group. Not about how cool is this city over here or this town over there or this tour over there. So that's the first example. Example number 2, strangers having dinner every single Wednesday. Literally, that's it. That's simple. A company called Time Loft was founded in just 2023 with a mission to fight urban loneliness. And in just 20 months of doing business, they now have over 150,000 participants joining dinners every month across more than 200 cities. Guys, in the first 20 months in business, they've generated over $20 million in ARR, which is annual recurring revenue, in those first 20 months in business. Let that sink in. $20 million in revenue in their first 20 months and 150,000 participants simply having dinner with strangers every Wednesday. Holy shit, that's something you could have put together. They did it to the tune of $20 million a year in 20 months. Now, people can go get dinner anywhere they want. It's not about the experience. It's about the connecting with the other people. You see what I mean by the human connecting economy, not the experience economy? Okay, hey, real quick, I'm going to interrupt, but it's for a really good reason. Let me ask you this. How are you really feeling right now about your social media content game? And this is an important question. If I had to ask myself, I'm asking because my social media game sucked the past couple of years. I mean, it was terrible. Every time I tried to hire it out, it didn't work. Their content was totally not me. And then when I would take it back over myself, it just never got done. That was until I finally found a team that stopped confusing social media content, just putting stuff up, with actual real social media strategy. The reality is this: social media matters if you're building your business, and you can't ignore it even if you want to. Trust me, I tried. Consumers are spending over $1 trillion with a T through social media every single year. Not scrolling, buying and hiring people, choosing who they trust by voting with their dollar. And it's not going to you, it's going to somebody else like me instead. That's why I want to introduce you to my personal CMO, Melissa Duglecki, and her team at the Brand Lab. I swear by her and her team. Melissa is somebody that both Lori and I have trusted with our marketing for a long time now. She's worked on our launches and our social media strategy, our copywriting, landing pages, my brand, and like much more. And in my world, I don't trust effort or intention. I'm sorry, effort and intention are not good enough. I only trust results. And we're finally getting them with Melissa and her team. Like, it feels so freaking good to see my social media go up on a consistent basis and actually like what they're putting up. So here is the deal. I've got a gift for you, but only for a few of you. I've asked Melissa to offer some of my listeners a limited number of spots to get a fully customized social media strategy, just like I got, covering your messaging, your positioning, bio, and content strategy. Now, when you use code Chris at chrisharder.me/social, that's chrisharder.me/social, you get $1,000 off as a thank you from me to you for listening. So go to chrisharder.me, that's .me/social, use code Chris and get $1,000 off as a thank you. If your social media results suck right now, like mine did, or if it feels overwhelming, trust me, just try this. The missing piece isn't more effort. That's what I was doing. It didn't work. It was the right strategy and the right team. Go to chrisharder.me/social, get $1,000 off your custom social media strategy as a thank you from me to you. Example number 3, there's a company called Othership. Don't ask me why they named it that, but it's 2 guys that built an ice bath and a sauna in their backyard in 2022. And a whole bunch of people wanted to come. It turned into like a little class model. And 3 years later, they have had over $20 million in investors pouring money into their company to help them open locations in Toronto, New York, etc. Matter of fact, I think they're up to about 10 locations right now. And the actual service, it's just a sauna and a cold plunge with a group. And it costs almost nothing for them to deliver once they build it out. They've packaged it like a class, like a fitness class, except people aren't paying $64 a class. Yep, that's what they charge. $64 a class for the temperature or the water. They're paying $64 a class for a room full of strangers who showed up sober and present and wanting to connect. That's more than twice the like Soul Cycle class or, F45 class or whatever it is. They're getting more than 2 times the amount for a class, and all people are doing is sauning and cold plunging together. And they're booming. The founder said this: they stopped selling the health benefits of cold plunge and saunas, and they started selling the community. And that's when they raised over $20 million in investors. The reason why they're building more locations is they're always sold out. Guys, that's 3 different price points, 3 totally different formats, but the same like insight. Proximity to the right humans is now the product. Let me repeat that. Proximity to the right humans is now the product. So how can you, the average entrepreneur, play this? You don't need $58 million in investment money or, a whole bunch of saunas and cold plunges in order to participate in this economy. Instead, just make small, creative moves. Turn your current customer base into a community, not a list. Host quarterly dinners instead of more webinars. Wherever you have clusters of leads or clusters of current customers, host little get-togethers. You can literally turn this into meetups in a park or meetups on a beach and be able to be successful participating in this human connection economy. Here's another example. Add an in-person element to anything digital that you sell. So instead of it just being a course, or instead of it just being an online program, now it becomes a course and a retreat, or a course and a free complimentary annual event where everyone who's ever taken it gets together. And you just build that into your overhead. Here's another one. Stop optimizing your content for reach and start optimizing it for who it brings together in a physical location. I know it feels like that doesn't scale, but it does. And if you don't believe me, look at the 3 examples I just listed. These companies are making hundreds of millions of dollars just bringing people together. In other words, charge for access to human interaction, not access to information. This is such a big, crucial change. Charge for access to human interaction, not access to information. Here's kind of my own personal bet on this. And I think I'm going to call the company Found. It's a lot like WeRoad. Found, kind of like founders, but also finding what you're looking for. Found will be curated, yet relaxed travel experiences built only for entrepreneurs who want to connect with other new entrepreneurs that they do not know already. And it's an intentional space that forces you to get out of your grind, to take a time out, to get unlonely, and instead go spend 4 to 5 days having fun and having a breather. And most importantly, having the magical conversations that happen that aren't currently happening with your current circles of people that you're around right now. They'll be really small, intimate groups of like 8 to 10 people per trip. No agenda except putting the right 10 people on an awesome travel experience together for 4 to 5 days and leading it in a way that the magic is encouraged to happen. That's it. Chill, but magically curated. And think about WeRoad. WeRoad proved that people are willing to pay for finding friends through travel. And I'm betting that entrepreneurs will pay for it for the same reasons. New, like-minded friends and better conversations that you're not having right now. New ideas that you're not getting right now. Fighting loneliness that you don't know how to fight right now. Here's the key. Even though these trips will be like a super dope curated travel itinerary, I'm not actually selling the itinerary. It's not about where you're going, and it's not about who you're going to see. Those are just like features. I'm selling the version of you that gets unlocked from being around 9 other people who are playing at your level or even ahead of you and having the conversations that don't happen when you're working in the grind. That's it. I'm not selling the itinerary. I'm selling the version of you that you get to become over these 4 or 5 days with brand new people giving you brand new outlook. It's the same bet that WeRoad made. It's the same bet as Time Lift. It's the same bet as Othership. Except I'm making it for entrepreneurs specifically at an affordable, yet serious enough price point that filters for successful people who are serious about being around other successful people. So the first trip is going to be mostly invite only, but I want, again, strangers to come together. So if this sounds fun to you, do me a favor, reach out to me. You can DM me, or if you have my phone number, you can text me. I would love to tell you about it and see if it's a good fit. Again, real small, 8 to 10 people, first trip. It's going to be in Southern California. We're going to work our way up the coast. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be really cool. It's probably going to be the end of September, beginning October. And if that's something that piques your curiosity, if you want to go on that thing, reach out. Happy to tell you about it. Again, DM me on Instagram at Chris W. Harder, or if you got my number, just shoot me a text. But here's the point, guys. The experience economy isn't actually the trend. The human connection economy is the truth underneath it all, where things are really going. People don't really remember the zip line or the dinner or the cold plunge. They remember who they did it with. They remember the idea they got while they were doing it. They remember the breakthrough they had during it, that exchange. And the same will go for your business. They're not going to remember most of the information you taught them. They're not going to remember what you said in the webinar. They're going to remember how they felt when they felt connected and seen for the first time in ages. while getting new information and new ideas. Build that into your business, and I swear to God, you will thrive going forward. Don't, and I think you're going to have a tough hill to climb. All right, guys. Hope you loved my ideas, and also reach out about this trip. DM me on Instagram, Chris W. Harder, or if you got my number, shoot me a text. Thanks for listening. Love and appreciate you.
Thanks for listening. And if you loved this episode and know of someone else who is as successful as they are generous, please pass them on to me. It would mean the world to me if you help me get this cause and this message out to as many listeners as I can. So please, if you liked what you heard, it goes a long way if you take 30 seconds and leave me a 5-star review and share this with your friends. I'll be forever grateful. And until the next episode, cheers to your success.